Our next speaker is the director of the Hayden Planetarium, and he's also the critically acclaimed host of the PBS show Nova Science Now. He's also the author of 8 bestsellers and was acclaimed by Jay Leno as the smartest man he's ever had on his show. Please welcome astrophysicist Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I was speaking with the organizers, and I said, well, I don't know what to tell the group. I said, I can tell them, like, a bunch of deep things that last 20 minutes, but then there wouldn't be much coherence to it necessarily. Or I can tell them one deep thing, get into it for 20 minutes, and then come out of it. They said, oh, we want both. So I said, okay, well, let's do it. Often talks such as these, by the way, are just kind of loosely veiled commercials for like a book somebody wants to sell. And this is no exception to that, you know. So, well, all I was saying was that we're going to talk about today cosmic perspectives. That's what it'll be. And this talk will not be about these books, but they're available to you. It's not about these books at all, neither the one on the left, the one... Also, it's this stuff this talk could have been about, but it's not, because I have to cram the whole universe into 20 minutes. So we could talk about NASA's future. This is Houston after all, but no. What happened to Pluto? I had something to do with that. Get over it? No. Big Bang, it's cool stuff, the end of the world in 2012. If there's time, we'll talk about it in Q&A. Okay? It's just if there's time. That surely will be the simplest slide you'll ever see. The number 1. That's 3 ways to write the number 1. I don't want to hear anyone say, nobody said there'd be math, you know. It's just 1, 10 to the 0 power, 1. Something to know about the number 1. Life on Earth is a sample of 1. There are biologists out there who will celebrate the diversity of life. But at the end of the day, behind closed doors, they have to tell each other that all life on Earth has common DNA and therefore is a sample of 1. And as long as you have a sample of 1, you cannot claim to fully understand what it is you're studying. You don't know what is fundamental to life or what is fundamental to life on Earth. You don't know until you haul an alien from another planet that has identity encoded in some way other than DNA. Then you can talk about what is fundamental to life and what's unique to one planet or another. Let's move a little higher. Let's multiply that by 10. We have the number 10. This is just about numbers. We're just going to get bigger together, all right? 10. What do we have that's 10? I know what's 10. We have 10 worlds in the solar system that have atmospheres. And there's a fascinating thing called panspermia. Panspermia, an idea that came up in the last couple of decades, is the notion that life could form on one world, microbial life, and get cast off the surface of that world, float through space, land on another planet, seeding that planet with life itself. And if there's life anywhere, life can be everywhere. These are the 10 objects in the solar system known to have significant atmospheres. And why do we know this is even possible? Because we heard earlier today, bacteria can be hardy. Recently discovered extremophiles. You can freeze dry them under high pressure, low pressure, high temp, everything that would kill us. The bacteria, some bacteria are doing the backstroke in it, okay? Enjoying the conditions. And it's funny because we talk about these as hostile conditions. They love it. That's normal conditions for many of these bacteria. And if bacteria can survive this, it can survive other planets, it can survive the journey through space, it can survive re-entry, and it can birth an entire new set of life forms as it goes from one planet to another. 10 places in the solar system where that can happen. Let's go up by another factor 10, 1,000. Metric prefix kilo. Drug dealers were metric long before the rest of us, right? They dealt in kilos. 1,000. Let's put that in context. 1,000 people live within 2 blocks of where I live in New York City. The apartment where I live, 2 blocks away, would enclose 1,000 people. Let's go up by another factor of 1,000. We get to mega, the unit by which computer hard drives used to be measured. How many megabytes do you have? 1 million. You get 1 million people within 15-block radius of where I live. I live where there's a lot of people in New York City. There's probably a 15-block radius somewhere in Houston where you'd get that many people living and working there. So we're in the millions now. Let's keep going. What else do we have? Billion. Favorite number in astrophysics, billion. Carl Sagan's favorite number. You got to say it, stick your chin out, say billion. Right, on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3, billion. See, that's beautiful. Billion, very common number in astrophysics. Let's keep going. If you want to count to 1 billion, it'll take you 31 years, 259 days, 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 40 seconds. Then you have to subtract leap days and leap seconds from that total, and that's how long it would take you to count if that's all you did in life. From the moment you were born and you never slept or went to the bathroom, or you could presumably count while you're in the bathroom. But it's a long time to count to 1 billion. I don't recommend it. Let's go up a little higher, 10 billion. In a few years, it'll be that many people on Earth. Don't kid yourself. An asteroid the size of what took out the dinosaurs will render all 10 billion people extinct. Now, here's the world I want to live in. I don't want to live in the world I don't want to live in is where people say, oh, here's the asteroid, pack food, build a shelter, so, run for the hills. No, I don't want to live around those people. People I want to live around, here comes the asteroid. How can we deflect it? How can we solve that problem? That takes scientists, engineers, and technologists in your midst, okay? There's a whole lot of professions that are completely useless in that situation. 65 million years ago, a rock the size of Mount Everest slammed into Earth, changed the climate. All animals bigger than the size of a suitcase went extinct. Your brain is not going to help you there. Actually, I once showed this picture, and someone in the audience said, is that an actual photograph? And I didn't quite know how to answer that, It's like, yes, actually, the pterodactyl had a digital camera, and we dug out the SD chip, and, how do you answer that? So I just said yes, and let him think about it. 50 billion, that's a fun number. 50 billion. Bill Gates, the patron saint of geeks in the world, he's worth 50 billion, or at least he was a year ago. I don't know what it is now, but it's in the tens of billions. Do you know how rich this is? No, you don't, okay? I'm going to tell you. $50 billion. I own a home, a car, I have a day job. That's a measure of my wealth, okay? I'm walking down the street. I make enough money, I don't need to pick up the dime. But I'm picking up the quarter. If I see a quarter in the street, I'm getting the quarter, all right? So given my boundaries between the dime and the quarter, ratio that to Bill Gates. What would he be too busy to bend over and pick up by this calculation? $45,000. If there's a wad of cash, $45,000, too busy, got to go to office, that's it, can't. That's how wealthy this is. You can be too much of a hurry to bend over and pick it up. Both sides of the Benjamin right there. By the way, Benjamin Franklin, he's on this, why? Because he's a founding father, but he's actually one of the first American scientists. Go to all the other currencies in the world, they have scientists on their money. We don't. You can say, yes, he's our scientist. There's not a thing on there that represents the science that he did. They could have put a kite, a lightning bolt, what do you call this? No, not the kite, the lightning rod. Put a lightning rod. You could have done stuff to show that this man was a scientist. But no, All right? No scientists anywhere on our money as the rest of the world passes us by. That's 50 billion. Let's double that, go up to 100 billion. Who's in charge? Why did I write that? I wrote that because 100 billion, if you take 1 linear centimeter of your lower colon, in that linear centimeter, there are more bacteria that live and work there than all the human beings who have ever been born. And it's that number. So you want to ask who's in charge of the world? It's not us. We are hosts for bacteria. That's all we are. You can tell yourself something different until the bacteria decide to have something to say about it. Another 100 billion. McDonald's. Let's round that to 100 billion, shall we? 99 billion. Actually, they've sold way more than this. They just lost count. So the later ones say what? You've seen them. Billions and billions. Somebody actually eats at McDonald's here. If you had 100 billion hamburgers, laid them end to end, try that. Start here in Houston and do that. Okay? Will you get to California? Yes. Float them on the Pacific. Will you get to Japan? Yes. Cross Asia? Yes. Europe? Yes. Atlantic? Yes. Okay? Come in East Coast? Come in. Yes, you'll get back to Houston. And you can do that 52 times with your 100 billion hamburgers. And with what's left over, after you went around the earth 52 times, you can stack them and reach the moon and back with what's left over after you went around the earth 52 times. Only then would you get to 100 billion. Let's go up a little more. Trillion. How long would it take you to count to a trillion? A trillion is 1,000 times bigger than a billion. 31,000 years. If it took you 31 years and change to get to a billion, it'll take you 31,000 years to count to a trillion. Basically impossible. A trillion seconds ago, cave troglodytes painted on their caves. And actually, if you look really close in those caves, they're actually... Just a little rebuttal from the morning session. Did anyone just get here for the afternoon? So you missed, you don't even know why I got this up here. Where was I? Well, we're up to trillion. What comes after trillion? Up by another 3 zeros? Quadrillion. So, quadrillion. 100 quadrillions. Let's get 100 of these. 100, you can do the calculation. It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of calculus. Once you know calculus, it's easy. If you don't know calculus, it's really hard. All right? So, that's about the number of sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived. Includes everything. The sound, when you're a baby, everything. Filibusters, everything is in this calculation. 100 quadrillion. Let's multiply that by 10. What do we get? Quintillion. Metric prefix exa. 10 to the 18th power. We are huge now. We are 1,000 times bigger than a quadrillion, which is 1,000 times bigger than a trillion, which is 1,000 times bigger than a billion. We're up to a quintillion. That is the estimated number of grains of sand on an average beach. Grains of sand. I know you've been to Galveston, and you come home, there's like sand in your it includes all that too, that you brought home in your bathing suit. Up, another factor of 1,000. Sextillion, 1 with 21 zeros. 21 zeros. That is the estimated number of stars in the universe. Stars. Dare you even think that the whole universe is here just for us? How could you possibly think that in the presence of these numbers? And across this universe, among those stars, elements are being manufactured in the cosmic crucibles that are those stellar cores. Stars born with the basic ingredients of hydrogen and helium. And out of those basic ingredients, through thermonuclear fusion, is forged heavier and heavier elements, fleshing out the periodic table. Forged in the stars, you get the periodic table of elements. Ask a chemist where these elements come from. They would have no idea without modern astrophysics. Forged in the stars. Oh, by the way, a quick aside that has nothing to do with anything. Do you know what these elements are called? Some of you should know. The what? You mumble and that means you're not sure. Someone speak who's sure. What kind of gases? No, not Nobel, noble gases. Do you know why they're called noble gases? I'll tell you why. Because the British discovered them, every one of them, and in their experiments they found that these elements did not combine with any other element. They had closed orbitals. And in their society, they said, who does not associate with others? That's the noble class. Hence the term noble elements, which reminds me of why we fought a war to get the hell out of England in the first place. Had to get that off my chest. Anyone here from England? Oh, so yes. In the stars and the gas clouds of our galaxy and other galaxies, stars are being born. They live out their lives and they die. The highest masses among them take the ingredients that was forged in their cores and explode them into the rest of the galaxy, enriching what was previously pristine ingredients with the chemicals of life itself. And what are those chemicals? What are we made of? Are we made of something special? You know, if we were made of like an isotope of bismuth, you could say, hey, we're made of nothing like nothing else in the world. But the problem is, with that ego-driven statement, is that it's just not true. Look at the top ingredients in the universe. Hydrogen, the number one ingredient in the universe. 2, helium. 3, oxygen. 4, carbon. 5, nitrogen. And the most important one of them all, anybody know what this next element is? Anybody know? Other. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now, let's find out what the top ingredients are of life on Earth. Let's check it out. Number one ingredient, hydrogen, located in the water molecules so prevalent on life on Earth. Next ingredient, nope, it's not helium. Helium is inert. Remember, it's a noble gas. It doesn't associate with the lower class, which is the rest of the periodic table. So even if we had it available to us, nothing we can do. Oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and together, class? Other. We are 1 for 1 of the ingredients in this universe. 1 for 1. Some people are depressed by that fact because they want it to be made of something special, but in fact, I'm ennobled by that fact. It's what it says is that we have a level of participation in the chemistry of the cosmos that allows us to look up and say, it's not that we're on Earth and the universe is up there. It's that we are all connected atomically, chemically, likely biologically. This is a galaxy where one of these stars has exploded. They explode about once every 100 years. This is a star in this galactic system, and over the years that follow, this spreads into the galaxy, enriching the next generations of stars with the ingredients of life itself. And so I take you from this image, which is in fact not the whole universe. That's a small patch of sky in our own galaxy. And I said 10 to the 21 stars. This is not 10 to the 21 stars. This is peanuts. You want to get your 10 to the 21 stars, you have to step out of our galaxy, look at the bigger picture, and when you do so, you get an image like this from the Hubble Space Telescope, one of the Hubble deep fields. Yes, that's a star sitting on our nose as we look past it into the rest of the cosmos. Every smudge on this image is an entire galaxy, itself containing hundreds of billions of stars, each living out their lives cosmically, scattering the ingredients of life throughout their own stellar systems. Every single smudge in this picture, except for that, which has spikes, and that. Everything else here is an entire galaxy as far as the telescope can see. So when I look up at the night sky, I bask in our connectivity, because I know at the end of the day, it's not simply that we live in this universe, it's also that the universe lives within us. Thank you.